Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Now apparently Maurizio Sullivan has explained that Deontay Wilder deserves another opportunity at Tyson Fury, and if that does happen, if Tyson Fury does fight Deontay Wilder next, then it will likely happen in spring, meaning Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua won't happen next year, or at least for the first stages of 2021. Now, Maurizio Sullivan said that Deontay Wilder was extremely loyal to the WBC and was champion for 5 years, and therefore his loyalty will be reciprocated, and if he is warranted another world title opportunity, then the WBC will sanction that. This is what Maurizio Sullivan had to say on the subject. There is an issue that we are aware of, that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder have had some mediation situation going on, and that's the only thing, but we don't have any details. We're just hoping that everything gets resolved and everybody is happy, and we see great fights inside the ring. Wilder is a tremendous important element. He was 5 years champion of the WBC, extremely loyal, the greatest knockout ratio, the percentage is unbelievable, and he is a very dear fighter, a champion in the WBC, and deserves, of course, another opportunity. He gave Tyson Fury the opportunity and Tyson Fury beat him, knocked him out. And of course, Wilder is in the mix. He deserves an opportunity, and we will see how things evolve in the coming year. So, him saying that Deontay Wilder is a great champion, well, he's not champion anymore, Tyson Fury is, and effectively, yes, they are supporting their current champion, Tyson Fury, but clearly they still have some loyalty towards Deontay Wilder. That should not happen. There should be no loyalty to any other fighter other than the champion and a mandatory challenger. Because yes, you should encourage fighters within the top 15, within the rankings even of the WBC, but there should be no favoritism at all, and that seems what it is like towards Deontay Wilder. Now, I have no problem with Deontay Wilder having his opportunity that he was contracted to have, but the problem is the contract expired, therefore Wilder was in no position to enforce that rematch. That's why this happened. Otherwise, Tyson Fury would have fought him in July. It was moved from July to October, then from October to December. So what is Tyson Fury supposed to do? Keep waiting? He cannot do that. His career will stagnate as a result, and he's 31 years old, in the prime of his career, so he cannot wait around for Deontay Wilder. In that case, he must move on. But Wilder is still trying to hold Tyson Fury back, which is unfair considering the biggest fight of Tyson Fury's career is just around the corner. I think that the problem could be that the WBC treat their champion, or especially Deontay Wilder, they treat them almost like family, which is great, it's, cool and all of that, but the problem is, when someone else becomes champion, or when there is a mandatory challenger, someone who deserves an opportunity, they seem to have protected the champion in some way. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just looking into it too much, but I just feel like Deontay Wilder got special treatment when he was a champion, and he's still getting special treatment from the WBC. I mean, look at Dillian White. I mean, how long has he waited for a world title opportunity? Yet he still hasn't had one. The guy's 32 going on 33. He is just hitting his peak, he's coming into his prime. He's not going to get much better than he is now. So he's been loyal to the WBC, constantly paid their sanctioning fees, stayed on that route even when he could have had a world title opportunity within another governing body. Yet he's still stuck with the WBC. When has his loyalty been reciprocated from the WBC? It hasn't to date. It just seems like Dillian White does have the hard route, especially compared to Deontay Wilder, who's right there and gets a world title opportunity straight after losing the belt. I mean, there is no contract there. It has expired. The reason why the contract expired is because it was supposed to happen in July. Then Deontay Wilder has in the contract, if he has an injury, then he is able to put the fight off for 90 days. He done that until October. Then October was being looked at. Again, Wilder didn't want to fight, or they couldn't get fans into the arenas, or some other excuse. Then it was moved to December. 3 dates were being looked at in the month of December. None of them came off, meaning Wilder has put the fight off twice, and the fight hasn't happened. So effectively, he's had his opportunities to push the fight back, so he can no longer do so any further, therefore meaning the contract has expired. So Deontay Wilder does not have a position to force upon Tyson Fury to make sure that he gets that rematch with him, that third fight. So the WBC are effectively backing Deontay Wilder. Yeah, they'll sanction that fight. Deontay Wilder deserves another opportunity. On what grounds? He had the opportunity, he had the contract, he had that position where he could enforce and make sure Tyson Fury does fight him next. Why didn't it happen? No fans? Anthony Joshua's fighting? Injuries? Well, he seems alright now if he wants to fight all of a sudden, so what was the problem? There was clearly some reason as to why they didn't want the fight to happen, whether they wanted to just buy more time, whether they wanted more money out of the event, is unknown at the moment, but it is weird how he was so quiet, now he's so vocal once the fight is beyond his grasp. That is very interesting. Now I guess the question is, pending on what happens in the mediation and with the WBC stating that they will back Deontay Wilder, what does that mean for Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury? Well, at the moment it shouldn't mean all that much, unless there is some way in which Deontay Wilder manages to force this rematch where Tyson Fury has no other option but to face Deontay Wilder. Then that is the only way Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury will be put on hold. Because as long as the lawyers who looked over the contract for Tyson Fury in the case of the rematch with Deontay Wilder, then if they have looked over correctly, then Tyson Fury has no obligation to fight Deontay Wilder or give him a world title opportunity. If Wilder has his own way, then likely Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder will fight in the spring of next year, meaning Tyson Fury will not be fighting Anthony Joshua in the early stages of 2021. It could happen in the back end of 2021, but still, it is being pushed back further once again, and that is a fight that we have been waiting for an extremely long time, probably since 2017, when Anthony Joshua beat Vladimir Klitschko. Then Anthony Joshua fought Joseph Parker in March of 2018, then all of the belts were in Anthony Joshua's grasp aside from the WBC World Championship, which was held by Deontay Wilder. And that fight never happened for undisputed AJ versus Wilder. Hopefully AJ versus Fury does not suffer the same fate, and wouldn't it be funny if it was at the hands of Deontay Wilder once again? The reason why AJ Wilder did not happen probably was Deontay Wilder, or at least his team. The reason why AJ Fury doesn't happen could potentially be Deontay Wilder once again, or his team, someone behind the scenes pulling the strings. And the WBC once again giving Deontay Wilder an easy route. What they should do is say, okay, the contract has expired with Tyson Fury, then go and fight someone in the top 10. Go and fight a good opponent, then you will get ranked. Then you will get potentially another world title opportunity. Now, having said that, the WBC are not the ones who are enforcing this third fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. What they are saying is they will back Deontay Wilder in the event that he can force a position on Tyson Fury. So they are happy for that fight to happen, whether there is a contract in place or not, because the contract has expired. So perhaps there is a new contract that needs to be drawn up for a third fight with different stipulations in place, and it would be a separate entity from the contract of the second fight. That would all depend on the mediation, whether Tyson Fury does decide to give Deontay Wilder another opportunity, and whether the WBC will back Wilder, which they will. They've already said they would. I think though that he should be forced to fight someone in the top 10, in fact top 5 of the WBC before he gets another world title opportunity, just to show that he is worthy of that fight. The WBC should be focusing on an Anthony Joshua fight. They've said they would be happy for AJ to fight for their belt. They should prove that. There should be some way in which the governing bodies do make this a priority, undisputed, to see who is number 1. That is what this is all about. Who is the best heavyweight in the world? Do the governing bodies want the number 1 heavyweight holding their belt in their heavyweight division? Or do they just want money? That remains to be seen at the moment. Anyway guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.